Today we're going to be going over the Week 1 schedule of the NFL season. Just going to be going over each of the games and my thoughts on them, who I think is going to win, and just talking a little bit about each of the games. So, first game we're going to be talking about is actually Thursday, first game of the season. It's between the Buffalo Bills and the Los Angeles Rams, the defending Super Bowl champions. So this is interesting. This is the first game of the season, and I do believe it has the potential to be the last game of the season as well. I have Buffalo actually winning the Super Bowl this year. That is my preseason pick to win it all. And obviously the Rams have a great chance of, getting back, considering they are the champs. So they have a great chance at, coming back and trying to defend their title. But for the first game to start the season, I think it's going to be a great slugfest. I think it's going to be a great fight. I am having a little bit of trouble picking who I think is going to win, but I am going to go with my gut on this one. And I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills, although I think that the Rams have an all-around better team. I just have a good gut feeling about Buffalo. Their defense did get a little better over the offseason, and I still trust Josh Allen. I think he is, at least top 3, if not the best quarterback in the game. He's one of a kind. So for this first game of the season, I am going to go with the Bills. Second game we have on the schedule is between the Saints and the Falcons. I don't think I need to talk about this one too much. I'm just going to go with the Saints. Atlanta obviously being in a rebuild. The Saints having a pretty damn good offseason. I think that they have a way better team than Atlanta. And I think that they are definitely going to be fighting for that division with Tampa. I don't think it's going to be easy for Tampa Bay this year as it was. And I'm excited to see Jameis Winston come back and see what he can do with his team. And I am going to go with the Saints for this game. Third game is actually one of the ones I have circled as, a must watch. It's the Browns at the Panthers. And this is interesting. Obviously, Baker being a part of the Carolina Panthers now, going against his former team, the Browns. Obviously, the Browns won't have Deshaun Watson, so they're going to be playing Jacoby Brissett at the quarterback. Obviously, I think Cleveland has the better team, but I'm still going to go with the Panthers on this one. I really do trust Baker. He's going to be playing with a chip on his shoulder. You can't help but root for the guy, especially for what he's been through. He brought Cleveland a first playoff win in so many years, and then they just, traded him for, pretty much nothing. So I am actually kind of rooting for Baker. I never thought I'd say that, but regardless, I'm still going to go with the Panthers for this game. Next game is between the 49ers and the Bears. So this is between two quarterbacks who were in the same draft, same as last year. And this is between Justin Fields and Trey Lance. So this is interesting. Trey Lance, it's the first time we're going to see him taking over the offense for the 49ers. They traded a lot of picks to get him, and I am excited to see how he fits with this system and, how he's going to play. And I do have San Francisco winning this game. Don't think I need to talk too much about it. They have one of the best rosters in the league, and Chicago is just obviously in a rebuild. I think they're going to be the worst team in the division. I really just don't see how Chicago can pull this off, but you never know. But I'm going with the 49ers on this game. Let's see. Another game. The next one we have is the Steelers at the Super Bowl runner-up Bengals. Division rivals going at it for Week 1. This will be a pretty damn good game, I think. Pittsburgh, obviously, their defense is going to give Joe Burrow and their offense, a lot of trouble. They're one of the best defenses in the league. And obviously, they're going against the Bengals, who have a great offense. And, we're 2 minutes away from winning a Super Bowl last year, all things considered. So looking at it from this point of view, going to go with my gut, and I'm going to pick the Bengals to win this game. But I will not be surprised if the Steelers pull this off. So going to be excited to see what the Steelers can do with a capable quarterback this year. Big Ben last year, they got to the playoffs, and he was pretty much, on one arm, and he was super old and washed. So I'm excited to see what the Steelers can do this year. But for this game, I'm going to pick the Bengals. Another game we got is obviously one I'm very excited about, me being a Lions homer. It's the Eagles at the Lions. So the Eagles had a great offseason, added a whole bunch of weapons for Jalen Hurts. Some would say that they definitely won the offseason. But for this, I'm going to pick the Lions. Obviously, I might be a little biased because I love my team. But the Lions, they're starting to build that identity. We have a pretty damn good offense, at least in my eyes. It's our defense we really got to, keep an eye on. I'm excited to see what Aiden Hutchinson will do for us. He's going to make his debut, the number 2 overall pick in this year's draft. Super excited for the potential of this team. I do have them winning this game, and I am going to go with the Lions. Next game we have is between another 2 division rivals going at it. It's going to be between the Colts and the Texans. I don't think I really need to go over this too much. Texans still in the rebuilding process, and the Colts, pretty damn good team. Should have probably made the playoffs last year if it wasn't for Carson Wentz blowing it. But I'm going to go with the Colts. They still have Jonathan Taylor. They still have a great defense and added Matty Ice in the offseason. Whether or not you want to say that's an upgrade from Carson Wentz, I think it is. So I really like the Colts for this one, and that's who I'm going with. Another division rival for this next game, it's the New England Patriots at the Miami Dolphins. So this is interesting. Tua, he's got more weapons than he ever has had before. So Miami, I think, has got a lot of pressure on them. And on the New England side of it, they still don't have an offense coordinator. I still see Bill Belichick calling the plays for the offense. You're going to see Mac Jones in his second year, see what they can do. But looking at it, I'm going to go with Miami just because they always have played New England very well. They've always had their number. Even when Tom Brady was there, this was the team that always gave the Patriots trouble. So I'm going to go with my gut, and I am going to pick the Dolphins to win this game. Next game between the Baltimore Ravens and the New York Jets. This one is, I think, a no-brainer. The Jets don't have Zach Wilson playing for their first few games. And Baltimore, on their side of it, Lamar's coming back. I'm excited to see how he's going to play. And I have high expectations for Baltimore. Obviously, they're in a tough division, so I'm not going to pick them to win the division, but they're going to be fighting for that top spot. And I'm excited to see what Lamar can do. Obviously, he was injured last year, so really excited to see him play football again. Hopefully, he can get back in the MVP form. But for this game, I'm going to go with the Ravens. Let's see. Next game we got is the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Washington. I think it's Commanders now. Geez, they change their name every year. You never know. We'll see what it'll be next year. But for this game, I'm going to go with the Jaguars. I think that Trevor Lawrence is going to take a leap this year and become even better. He's got a new coach, Doug Peterson, Super Bowl winning head coach. So I'm going to be excited to see what he can do with Trevor Lawrence, see what he can unlock with him. And on the Washington side of it, I really just don't see what they can do. I'm not a believer in Carson Wentz. I haven't been for a while. But I'm going to pick Jacksonville for this just because, I'm not a big fan of the Washington roster, and especially who they have being their field general. I'm going to go with Jacksonville for this game. Next game, the Giants at the Titans. Again, this is probably a no-brainer. I'm going to go with the Titans on this one. They still have Derrick Henry, but, they can only go as far as Ryan Tannehill will let him go. I'm not a believer in this team anymore. I lost my faith in this team last year, but they're playing the Giants, so I'm not, I don't have expectations for the Giants to win too many games, so I'm going to give this one to Tennessee, especially they'll be at home. They'll have Derrick Henry, and I'm sure they'll be all right, but Tennessee for this game. Let's see. Next game we have the Chiefs at the Cardinals. This is going to be interesting. We're going to see the Chiefs without Tyreek Hill. We're going to see what Patrick Mahomes can do without his number one, deep threat. So I'm excited to see. They've got a couple other receivers to kind of burden the load a little bit. They got Juju, and then, of course, they got MVS from the Packers. And they got a strengthened O-line. So I'm excited to see what the Chiefs can do, especially with this division they got to play. I think it's going to be a lot harder for them this year to win that division. But if we're talking for this game, I'm going to go with the Chiefs. Arizona, they won't have D-Hop, obviously, for the first 6 games. And just not a real big fan of this roster, to be honest. They lost a lot during the offseason. So I'm going to go with the Chiefs to win this game against the Cardinals. Next game, this one I have circled as well. This is between 2 division rivals. I'm excited to see how this one turns out. So both of these teams added a bunch of players this offseason. Obviously on the Raiders side of it, they added Chandler Jones on the defensive side and Devontae Adams on the offensive side. So that's going to be really nice for Las Vegas and the Derek Carr, Devontae Adams connection. And on the Chargers side of it, they they strengthened their defense by picking up J.C. Jackson from the Patriots and Khalil Mack from the Bears. I think the Chargers are definitely a dark horse for me to win the Super Bowl this year, or at least make the Super Bowl. I really do believe in Herbert, and I have strong expectations for this team. And this is also a rematch of last year's winner-go-home for the playoffs last year. If you remember, these two teams played last game of the season for a spot in the playoffs, and Vegas won. So I'm sure the Chargers still have that bad taste in their mouth. And I am going to go with the Chargers, however, for this game, just because I think they have the better team. And I do believe in Herbert, but I'm not going to be surprised if Vegas does pull this off, especially with, the wizardry of their new head coach, Josh McDaniels. So Chargers for this game. Another division rival's going at it between the Green Bay Packers and the Minnesota Vikings. So I've never been a believer in Minnesota. I always thought that they were just a team that could, maybe make the playoffs, but I never seen them as a threat or anything like that. This year might be a little different just because Green Bay did not get any better. I think they actually got worse this offseason, and Minnesota got better. Their new head coach is, from the head coaching tree of Sean McVay for Minnesota. So I'm excited to see what they can do. And honestly, I could see this going either way because Green Bay still has Aaron Rodgers. But first game of the season, new coach at home. I think that the Minnesota Vikings are going to win this game. But I will not be surprised if the Packers pull this off. I'm going to go with the Vikings for this game. So for the Sunday night game, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Dallas Cowboys. So this is interesting. These two teams played in the opener last year, and they're playing again in the opener this year. This time it's in Dallas. So I'm going to go with Tampa Bay for this one just because I think they have the way better team. Dallas lost a lot this offseason. I don't think they're going to be as dynamic as they were last year. And you could say the same for Tampa. Their offensive line is depleted. But Brady has always gotten rid of the ball very quick anyway. He's got plenty of weapons. Although it is in Dallas, I still think it's going to be the Buccaneers winning this game, and that's who I'm going to go with. And the final game of Week 1 is a revenge game. Russ with the Denver Broncos visiting his former team, the Seattle Seahawks, on Monday night. This I don't think we need to go over too much. I am going to pick the Denver Broncos to win this game. I think we're going to really see Russ cook in this game. And Seattle, obviously being in a rebuild, I'm not expecting much from them, but I'm excited to see how the 12th man will react to seeing Russ in the orange jerseys. I'm excited to see how they're going to bring him in and if they're going to give him an ovation or not and stuff like that. I believe they will, but this will be really excited to see. I am going to pick the Broncos to win this game. So that is going to actually wrap up the video. That's my Week 1 predictions for the NFL Week 1 schedule. And thanks for stopping by. Let me know in the comments who you got.